So there's one very interesting. One time there was a tree in the forest, and this tree, she loved a little boy. And every day the little boy would come and visit the tree, and he would climb up her trunk, and he would eat her apples, and then he would take all her leaves and make a crown, and he would pretend that he was the king of the forest. And so the tree loved the little boy very much, and also the little boy loved the tree. So time went by, and the boy grew up a little bit, and he didn't come so very often, so the tree was a little sad. But one day the boy came back, and the tree was so happy that she shook with joy, and she said, "Oh boy, please come, please climb on me, please eat my apples, please have fun with me." And the boy said, "I am too big now to climb. I am too big to have fun. I want to go to the city and buy things. I want to have a good time. Please give me some money. Do you have any money?" And the tree looked at him and said, "No, I'm a tree. I don't have any money. But you can take my apples. Please take my apples to the city and sell them, and then you will get some money, and then you will be happy." So the boy took the tree's apples and went to the city and sold them, and the boy was happy, and the tree was very happy. So some more time went by, and the boy didn't come for a very long time, so the tree was sad. But then one day the boy came again. So the tree was so happy, and she said, "Oh boy, please come, please climb on me." And the boy said, No, I'm too sad to climb right now. I want a wife and children. I want to be happy. Can you give me a house? I want a house so I can have a family." So the tree said, "Well, the forest is my house. I cannot give you a house. But you can cut off my branches. If you cut off my branches, then you can build a house and then you will be happy." So the boy cut off all of the tree's branches and took them away and made his house, and then he was very happy. And the tree was very happy also. But now a long, long time went by, and the tree didn't see the boy for many, many years. But finally, the boy came one day and said, "Oh, tree." Oh, the tree said, "Oh, boy, please come, please climb on me." And the boy said, No, I am too old. I'm too old and sad to climb on you right now. I want to go far, far away from here. Can you give me a boat? I want a boat so I can sail far away from this place and never come back." So the tree said, "I don't have a boat, but you can cut down my trunk and you can build a boat and then you can sail away from here and you can be happy." So the boy did that. The boy cut down the tree trunk and made this boat and then sailed far away. And for many years, the boy did not return. So finally, one day, the boy returned. But now he was an old man. This old man came back. And the tree said, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I don't have any branches, so you cannot play on me." And the boy said, "I'm too old to play right now." And the tree said, "All of my apples are gone, so you cannot eat them." The boy said, "Oh, my teeth are too rotten, so I cannot eat your apples anyway." And the tree said, "My trunk is gone, so you cannot climb on me." And the boy said, "I'm too tired to climb. I just want to sit down and rest." And the tree kind of straightened up. Actually, it was just a stump now. So the stump kind of straightened herself up and said, "Well, an old stump is not good for very much, but it's good for resting. So you can come here and sit and rest for a while." So the boy, this old man, came and sat down on the stump and rested, and finally the boy was happy and the tree was happy. So that was the end. So this is a really simple story, and even a child can understand this story. But look at the meaning very deeply. This tree gave everything for this little boy. That's why we say in Korean this akim opshi. giving everything without reservation. Now, everything in nature is always giving to us. The trees, the plants, the sky, all things in the world are giving constantly without complaint. But humans come along and we cut down the trees, we kill the animals, we abuse nature only to serve our own interests. So this is the way we can say human beings are the number one bad animal. Human beings destroying this world. But really, nature is constantly giving. Our true nature is also like this. Our true nature is constantly giving. But we forget this. And so we get caught up in the delusion of our anger, our ignorance, our self-centered thoughts control our lives. But how many times in our life have we really given to somebody else? How many times in our lives have we really given without reservation? Probably very few. Most people, even if you give to somebody else, usually you have this kind of mind. I gave you something. Or you give to some charity or to some organization and you say, I gave them a lot of money. I gave them a lot of food. But if you give this way of this I gave something, this is not the true giving. Our true giving means there is no giver, there is no recipient, and also no object given. This is very interesting. How many times in our lives do we really give without some idea of a return, without some idea of something coming back to us? That is very, very rare. Actually, most people, even if you give something to your friend, let's say you give a gift to your friend, you expect something in return. Like maybe you expect your friend will say, "Oh, you are so wonderful. Thank you for giving this." Or at least your friend will be happy and give you some kind of reward this way. But if our friend, after we give something to our friend, if our friend says only, "Why did you give me this? Oh, I don't even like you. Why you give this kind of thing to me?" Then that time we have a very bad feeling. And sometimes if we give something to someone after a year or two, we regret this and we say, "Oh, why didn't you give this back to me? Why did I give it to you? Oh, I can't believe it. I really like that watch anyway. You should give it back to me, that's my watch." Actually, this is a very common way to look at things. You give something to someone, and then you see the person carrying this thing or holding this object, and you say, "Oh, that's my watch. That's my car. I can't believe you're still driving my car," like this. Some people look at it this way. But true bodhisattva giving, without regard for your own benefit, that is the true bodhisattva giving, we can say. So there's one story from Korea, and this happened a long time ago. This Manggong S님 and Kyung-ho S님, they were walking along together. They are two very famous Zen masters in Korea. Maybe the foreign people don't know this, but two very famous Zen masters, maybe 70, 80 years ago, or maybe a little longer. But at that time, they passed a man selling frogs. And at that time, there was no comment, but they passed along. And Manggong S님 suddenly said to Kyung-ho S님, who was his teacher, he said, "Please wait a moment." So Manggong S님 went back to the frogs, and he bought all the frogs, and he set them free. He took them to the pond, and he set them free. We call this in Korean a bangseng. So he released the life, free the life that time. So Manggong was very happy, and he went back to Kyung-ho S님, and he said, all those poor, the Geguri, the poor frogs, I set them free. The frogs are free. I did this. I'm very happy now. So then Kyung-ho S님 said, "Sure, the frogs, they all went to heaven, but you just went straight to hell. What do you mean I saved those frogs? What do you mean by that?" So that is really that is the mind we have most of the time. I help somebody else. So this is also a kind of delusion. So how do we give without regard to our own benefit? This kind of giving is very, very rare in our society. If you practice, maybe you have some experience of your true nature, we can say. That time you realize, this true nature is not different. What that true nature, that person, my true nature, this whole universe's true nature is not separate. That moment, so helping other people, also helping myself. One Hyodesa said, helping oneself and helping others are like the two wings of a bird. So you help somebody else, this also helps you, even you don't realize at that moment. So there's one very interesting story from America I'd like to share with you. This happened maybe, 10 years ago, 20 years ago in Washington, D.C., or some kind of a big suburban kind of community. And there was one case where a gang member, this little boy, in order to join the gang, he had to kill another boy, kill somebody. This is sometimes happens in America, this kind of happening. And so he went and he shot this little boy for no reason and killed him. They were maybe 14 years old, something like that. And the little boy was arrested and he was taken to the police station, and then finally he was put on trial. And they had this in the courtroom, very big trial to determine what will happen to this little gang member. And so finally the trial is finished and the judge determines you are guilty. You killed this other boy. You must go to the juvenile detention center, some kind of a prison for little children, like this kind of thing. So you go to the juvenile detention center for a few years. And as the little boy was walking out of the courtroom, his mother, the mother of the dead child, the dead child's mother looked straight at him and said, "I will kill you. I will kill you." Inside, so angry, she said like this, "I will kill you." So this happened. Then the little boy went to the prison, and nothing much happened for about 6 months or so. But after about 6 months, the mother of the dead child's mother, went to the prison to visit this killer, this little boy who had killed her son. And that time they talked a little bit, and in the end, she left him maybe some little money for cigarettes or something he needed, like something like that. And gradually, over the next year or two, she started to visit him more often. So she would bring offerings of like food and little things to make his life more pleasant. And gradually they became kind of acquainted. They became kind of friends. So after a couple of years, this boy was going to be released from prison. Because he was very young, they released him at an early age. And this mother, this woman, asked him, she said, "So what will happen to you when you get out of the prison here? What will happen?" And the boy said, "I don't know. I don't really have a mother or a job. I don't have any place to go." So the mother said, "Well, why don't you come and stay with me for a while? Maybe you can just stay in my house. I have an extra room. You can stay there if you want." So this boy came and stayed in her house. And that time she also found a job for him. She maybe got some job in the neighborhood. So he could start making money and start to support himself and become a regular member of society. And one day, maybe about 8 months passed. About 8 months later, one day, this mother called the little boy downstairs into the living room. And she said, "Do you remember that day in the courtroom when I looked at you and I said, 'I want to kill you, I will kill you'? Do you remember that?" And the little boy said, "Yes, I remember that. I will never forget it. I can never forget that." And the mother said, "That was true. I wanted that little boy dead. That little boy who killed my son is dead. That's why I started to visit you. That's why I started to bring you things. I wanted that little boy who killed my son to be dead." Now, I look at you now, that little boy is gone. You are a new child. And so right now, I look at my life. My son is gone. Also, you have no place to go. You have no mother, you have no family. So if you will let me, I would like to adopt you to be my son. I would like you to come here and be my son and live at my house forever, if you will accept. And so the little boy accepted this offer. And this is a true story. The mother, the little boy who killed her son, became the adopted son of this mother that time. So that's really amazing story of human forgiveness, human beings' forgiveness. So most of the time in our lives, our friend will make us angry, or we have some kind of resentment, or even some kind of past event that happened many, many years ago is still bothering us today, still affecting us today. We say, wow, I can never forgive that person. I can never forgive that person for what they did. There's maybe some example of two prisoners of war. They were held together in the prison during the wartime. And many years later, one prisoner asks to the other, so have you forgiven your captors? Did you forgive the men who held us captive during that time? And this other man said, I can never forgive them. I will never forget this hatred. And so the other man said at that time, well, I see they are still holding you captive now. This means what happens in the past has passed. But to become really true human beings in this life, what's most important is this mind of forgiveness. So we had this story before of Nachiketa in India. And the first blessing that Nachiketa asked for was forgiveness. Forgiveness for all that he had touched, including his father. So he realized that he could not truly open his heart unless he could forgive his father. So most of our lives, we hold what has happened in the past. Also, we worry about what will happen in the future. But this karma prevents us from truly experiencing this moment. So in order to truly experience our life completely and fully moment to moment, it is first necessary to become clear about this karma that is past, that karma that we hold unreasonably, this karma that controls our lives. That time we can say, let it go. Or our Zen master Sung-san sometimes says, put it down. Put it down. It means moment to moment, what are you doing right now? We sometimes say also, moment to moment, what is your correct situation, your correct function, and your correct relationship? So we all come to our lives, and we have many different situations. We have many different people that we meet. We have many different jobs that we go to. And so at the current moment, we have assembled here in this Dharma hall, and you are sitting here listening to this Dharma speech. But after this Dharma speech is finished, maybe you will go home and you will be together with your wife or your husband or your friend. And that time, the situation will be different. But if you go home and you are still holding this idea of Myeongheng S님's Dharma speech, or you are still thinking about, wow, I wish I had paid attention during the speech. I wish I hadn't fallen asleep during that speech. Then you won't be able to fully do your job when you get back home. You won't be able to fully be present with your husband or your wife. And if you are talking with your husband and your wife, and that time your wife is very angry at you. She says, why you come home so late last night? Why you never listen to me? And that time you are very upset, and you go to your job. And your wife being angry, you are still holding this emotion. That time you cannot fully do your job. That time your boss will also be angry at you. Why you don't pay attention? You always think about something else, like this. So our life really means how be fully present in this moment. How live our lives completely and fully every moment. That is really important. There was one book in the 1960s written by this man called Ram Dass. And the title of this book was Be Here Now. Be Here Now. So this is kind of an oversimplification. But actually, it's pointing to the heart of our practice. If you live your life moment to moment, fully and completely, then already your true self will automatically function. Already your true self will allow you to live your life completely. This is not something special. But if you spend your life thinking about this past and this future, then you create clouds in front of this true self. It's like we say the blue sky is originally blue. The white clouds are coming and going. So if you forget the blue sky and only pay attention to the clouds, then it is very difficult to be clear. But if no matter what happens, no matter what appears, always you return to this blue sky, then your moment to moment, your life can become clear like this. So there's one more kind of interesting story which kind of illustrates this. So there's the case of the man being chased by a tiger. And the tiger is running after him, and he has nowhere to go. So eventually he comes to a cliff and falls from the cliff and is holding on to the vine. And he looks up above, and all he sees above him is this tiger leaning over the cliff, growling at him, like this. And he looks down at the bottom of the cliff, and he sees another tiger also looking up, waiting to eat him, like this. And to make matters worse, he looks up at the vine and sees two little mice chewing away at the vine. This. So he knows that for sure, any moment, he will die. For sure, this vine will fall, and he will be eaten by the tiger at the bottom of the cliff. There's no doubt. But at that moment, he looks over beside him, and he sees the delicious strawberry, the delicious dalgi. So he reaches over and he picks this dalgi at that moment. He picks this strawberry, and he pops it in his mouth. Ah, delicious. Ah! So that is all. He is finished. So how many of us can really live our lives with that kind of presence of mind? Even as a monk, I could not honestly say that if I was dangling from the cliff, that I would be able to fully appreciate the taste of this strawberry. But really, if you have moment to moment this present mind, then there's no worry about your death. Your death is only made by your thinking. One moment, this body will disappear, of course, but we make this idea of life and death. So true freedom from life and death only means moment to moment, wake up. Moment to moment, who are you? So this is the simple message, but very, we could say, very interesting human situation. That even we have this kind of simple teaching in our lives, moment to moment, wake up. Moment to moment, only help others. But instead, we spend our lives only trying to help this body, this impermanent vehicle, this rental car that will one day have to be returned to the universe. But if we wake up and we truly understand ourselves, then even it is time to return our rental car to the universe, that time, no problem. We can say, die time, only die. So that time, body die, that is all. So I hope everybody here today will continue to practice and live your lives very sincerely and only help others. And please, everybody, attain enlightenment and save all beings from suffering. Thank you for listening.